Welcome to the SEC Unfiltered platform. I appreciate you guys listening to all our content on all our channels and platforms. I I speak on behalf of everyone from the SEC Unfiltered family when I say that. I am your host, Dave Shumate, longtime SEC personnel director, director of recruiting around college football. Glad to present this segment of who are the top 5 impact players for the Texas A&M Aggies heading in to 2024. But first, before we get to it, guys, we have to pay some bills. Starting off with our guys, if you want to put any lines out starting tonight, maybe Colorado, North Dakota State, maybe an SEC game or two, Arkansas Pine Bluff, maybe Missouri Murray State. Go visit our guys at MYBOOKIE.ag and use code SECU at sign up to receive a special welcome offer on your first deposit. If you're wanting to bet, put some wages down. Those guys will take care of you. But let's get to why you were here. The top 5 impact players for the Texas A&M Fighting Aggies heading into 2024. How this goes, I've done this segment in alphabetical order, and I'm going in reverse chronological order, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. At the end, I'll talk about some guys who just missed the cut and then just recap at the end. But A&M was one that I was like, man, you could talk about a lot of these guys 1 through 5, rank them. You could maybe put 5 at 1 if you're being honest. You could even have some guys that are on that next up list be in the top 5. This is one of the ones where I was like, yeah, you can make a legit case for number 5. Who comes in at number 5 being at number 1 as well? If even surpasses what he did last year. But let's get to it. Starting at number 5, linebacker Torian York. Again, would love to have him higher. He was a freshman All-American last year. Mike Elko's defense usually has a big-time backer on the inside. They use Tyrell Dotson at A&M, Buddy Johnson at A&M. Maybe big times to big world, but a good linebacker that understands the defense in front of him and behind him, and obviously his spot as well. Last year, York had 74 tackles, 8.5 tackles for a loss, 3 sacks. I think his best attribute is a phenomenal tackler. Just phenomenal tackler across the board. That's especially in space. In college football, don't take that for granted now, folks. Tackling has kind of been a lost art, but not for Torian York. Think he comes in at number 5 at the linebacker spot. Should be one of the leaders on this defense. He's back. He should understand it. Or not the defense, because it's Mike Elko's first year and Jay Bateman's first year, but he should understand what it means to play in the SEC, get those reps is what I mean. But Torian York coming in at number 5, I want to put him higher. I do, but I have reasons for not. Coming in at number 4, we're going to the offensive side of the ball. Offensive guard, Chase Basantis. Started every game in 2023. 1 start at right guard, which I believe he'll be there this year on the inside. That's his upside. But last half of the season, he started to come on. I mean, the guy was a true freshman last year. There's not a lot of offensive linemen in the SEC that just come out of the gate firing. There's not a lot of Will Campbells coming out of the gate just firing and not missing a beat. I think him moving inside will only raise his ceiling and floor of his overall ability for Texas A&M. The Aggies will need him in a big way because I keep saying any show I've been on, Texas Aggies myself, I'll say A&M season is going to come down to Connor Wigman and how the offensive line plays, I think. Because Mike Elko never has a bad defense, folks. You can go back to his Bowling Green days when he was a coordinator. It's going to come down to that offensive line and the quarterback play. Basantis is going to have his key in that. That's why I think he comes in at number 4. Again, I think Torian York's the better player. But I think right now, impactful, though, they're going to need it from Chase Basantis. So he comes in at number 4. Number 3, this is a guy I think it was pretty easy, obviously, to get in the top 5. Could probably even be higher than this. Defensive end, Nick Scorton, the Purdue transfer. Led the Big Ten in sacks with 10 last year. No pun. Guy's going to transition to the SEC well, I think. I don't think there's going to be some talent gap. He's back in his home city. He's from Bryan, College Station originally. Had 15 tackles for loss last year. You saw some of his ability, his first step, his ability to bend, get low, attack the outside shoulder of the offensive tackle in the spring game. In the maroon and white game, you saw that. I think he is the cherry on top of an already very good Texas A&M defensive line and just front 7 in general. I think Nick Scorton is going to be a guy that we're going to be talking about. A lot of people already are, to be fair. I'm not trying to pretend like I'm reinventing the wheel here, talking about Nick Scorton. If you're probably in the top 5 of an impact player for Texas A&M, you've been talked about. He could probably be higher, but again, probably not as high just because they have so many other guys around him, but I expect him to have a big year. Coming in at number 2, one of his comrades on the defensive line. It's going to be number 2 defensive lineman Shamar Turner. Had a good year in 2023, 33 tackles, 10 TFL, 6 sacks. Very, very versatile player. But his ceiling's on the inside. I think this is the year he takes that next step. I think this is the year he takes that next step for Texas A&M becomes really disruptive. I mean, you could pick a ton of dudes on this group. I mean, Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy, the Hicks kid. We're talking about it. Shamar Turner, maybe Shamar Stewart takes his game up another level and helps on that inside. You have a lot of guys, man. That's even with them losing McKinley Jackson last year. But Shamar Turner, I think, is going to be that guy remain. Yep, this was his year. He took that step forward. Yeah, he sure did. He sure did. I'm willing to bet that. That's why I put him at 2. And somebody may think that's high. You could probably even make a case for Nick Scorton to be 1 or 2. Heck, like I mentioned, I think all 5 of these guys at some point. Maybe not Basantis, for being honest. I think he's top 5 he's going to need to have a big impact. But I think 4 of the top 5 for sure. For sure could be in that. But moving to number 1, again, if you have a big quarterback, I always say it now, in college football, your quarterback has to be a top, I think, 3 to 5 player for you, really, from a production, from an ability you need on the field every Saturday. You're like, hey, he needs to go win us games. It can't be just winnable minus. And when I say that, it's like, hey, like he doesn't turn the football over, but he doesn't win us games, but he also doesn't lose us games. He just gets us lined up. We don't commit a lot of penalties. We don't beat ourselves. No, if you're going to go, that's great if you want to win 8 games, but I think A&M's tired of winning 8 games. I think if you want your quarterback, if you want to go win a championship, you want to go win a championship, your quarterback has to be one of your best players, and you're winning because of him, not just because we're surrounding him with other good talent. Coming at number 1, speaking of a talented quarterback, Connor Wigman. His impact is going to affect the Ags negatively, or even indifferently, if we want to be honest. I lean towards more positively or negatively. But this season, this is the one Wigman needs to elevate himself mentally and physically. I think the last few years have been a little immature. And to be a quarterback in this league, you got to take on that burden on your shoulder that, hey, this is my team. I'm the face of the program, especially at a school like Texas A&M. I've heard that maybe improve from a preparation standpoint, from a maturity standpoint, off-the-field standpoint. He needs to take that next step in that development, in my opinion. I mean, the arm talent, the hand talent's there. We see it. I want to see a little bit more toughness. Hey, they blitz a linebacker in the A-gap. You take a shot underneath the chin. Hey, you bounce back up. You're in the huddle. You're just going to shake it off. Hey, we'll get to the sideline. We'll rub some dirt on it. But, hey, we got another play to get in. It seemed like last year, if he took a hard shot, it kind of affected him at least for that remaining drive. And when I went back in the summer and watched, it usually was that next drive. And I didn't even think I thought he played pretty well in the Miami game. And I'm really talking about the shots in the Auburn game at time. But like I mentioned, the pure arm talent and upside is there. But he can take that next step and be that leader. That's what it is. Factored in the new offense, I'm interested to see how Colin Klein uses him. Colin Klein likes to run the quarterback, even going back to his K-State days himself. He liked to run the quarterback. When Skylar Thompson was there, he liked to run the quarterback. And even when Will Howard was there, he liked to run the quarterback. So in between the tackles. So that's his comfort level. How does he fit into that? One of the more interesting develops on that offensive side of the ball and determining how the SEC will shake out this year is the development of Connor Wigman within Colin Klein's offensive system. But Connor Wigman coming in at number 1, just missing the cut. I told you I'd give you a couple guys. I think it's 3 receivers in a row. Jediah Walker, wide receiver Noah Thomas, and then wide receiver Cyrus Allen, the Louisiana Tech transfer. A&M needs somebody to step up at the wide receiver spot. I mean, maybe Moose Muhammad, but I want to see some more consistency. Jediah Walker, Noah Thomas, Cyrus Allen, someone has to step up there for him. Someone's going to have to help Connor Wigman out. Because say the offensive line and Wigman are doing their part. Somebody on the outside's got to go win too. And they're going to get tested right off the bat against Notre Dame with Xavier Watts and the Morrison kid. Also, I thought edge rusher Cassius Howell, the Bowling Green transfer, could have been on this list as well. And then finally, corner Will Lee coming over from K-State. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys added that could be in that discussion of the next man up. But just to recap it, guys, coming in at number 5, linebacker Torian York. I think he takes a next step. Mike Elko always has a linebacker he can trust, man in that middle part of the defense. Number 4, I think the transition for Chase Basantis moving inside is really going to help himself, the ceiling and floor of his play in Texas A&M. Number 3, defensive end Nick Scorton. I think you could have moved him higher. He's going to have a difference maker. The Purdue transfer coming back to his hometown, expected big year. Number 2 is Shamar Turner. I think he's the coming out party type guy because he's moving inside full time. I think he's going to get more comfortable there. That's what his body type is. I like him there. And then number 1, Connor Wigman. Right, wrong, or indifferently, Connor Wigman is going to determine the ceiling of this Texas A&M football team, folks. That's not. I don't think some bold statement. Maybe you think it is. I don't think it is. But we'll see. He's going to test it early. Facing a really good secondary. He's going to need some help, obviously, from the offensive line and some guys to step up. But Connor Wigman's got that ability from a raw talent ability. He's just got to take it up from a preparation. Take being the quarterback at Texas A&M more seriously than he had the last 2 years. I think he probably has done that. just want to see it translate to the field, folks. But I do appreciate you guys joining us on this segment of the top 5 impact players for Texas A&M heading into 2024. Again, I'm your host, Dave Shumate. Go like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, guys. It's SEC content 24/7, 365, football, basketball, and baseball, and especially this time of year in the fall. We're going to have just content bleeding out the eyes of football. Hit that notification bell, guys. You get caught up in your own everyday life, so you're not going to remember when these segments come out. Hit that notification bell so it gives you a notification that we're coming on. We're doing a lot of SEC content from a football standpoint. But guys, I appreciate you joining us. You have a phenomenal day.